And before I hop into the beginning of today's essay or episode, I wanted to jump into Facebook and take a quick look at Abe Catalan and people from Florida. Jeff Kooper. Jeff Kooper puts out some very cool stuff on his Facebook page. He's revolutionary and he's a great musician. However, one of the more recent posts that he put out was this one right here. So I wanted to cover this post that Jeff had put out. And it's about 5G, and I'm
For those of you that don't know, I'm a tower climber. I climb cell phone towers and install the cellular equipment that allows you to keep scrolling. And I'm currently in 5G training. And I was already concerned about this technology before getting in there and actually learning some of the science about it. So let me give you some of the science about it. The radio frequency that our towers currently emit is non-ionizing radiation with a long footprint over the ground, so it's able to dissipate and spread out. Right? It's currently being broadcast anywhere from like 1.5 to 2.5, 2.8 megahertz. Right? Close, if you take radio frequency close, it superheats the water molecules in your brain, eyes, and testicles. Right? So it's a very real thing. You could render yourself sterile or with a splitting headache for days, or I cooked the top of my skull and left me useless for the rest of the day. Right? And that's at short range, at a relatively low power. The way 5G is going to work is it is going to broadcast in gigahertz, not megahertz. We're talking about 30 plus gigahertz they're estimating, which means 15,000 times stronger than what we're pushing out right now. And it's going to actually go at a much steeper peak. It's going to almost be broadcast straight at the ground to hit more receivers that are then going to transmit it outwards. Right? The plan is to install these small cells on the billboards and street lights, sides of buildings, in the corner of your office building or in the hallway of your apartment complex, so that they can get lightning fast speeds. Well, here's the thing. The RF that we've been broadcasting isn't really damaging to you, though they can't tell the long-term effects. But because it dissipates over distance and it's not a concentrated thing, the radio frequency we're broadcasting now has a really long wave trough. All right? So even if you're getting hit with it, you're not absorbing a lot. That's why if I take it close range, I eat it, but you don't feel it down off the tower. It's not going to be that way with 5G. It's going to be in the corner of your office. They're talking about putting a 38 band MIMO antenna in the back of every car so that they can talk to each other and self-drive. Now, the 5G, its waveform is much tighter, where 4G, 3G, and 2G have fairly long wave troughs so that we can reach distances and have a greater footprint coming off the tower. It's not necessary with 5G. It's going to be broadcasting what's called a millimeter wave, which is much more tightly focused with much closer wave troughs. So when it does hit, you just get blasted. And it's not miles away, hundreds of feet up on a tower anymore. It's in the corner of your office. Which means that this millimeter wave is going to be able to directly affect the cellular membranes, the bonds that hold your cells together.
All right, this is Vape Shop Patriot putting it out. He is I haven't done the research on this individual. I'm putting the video out here. I think it's important and valuable information dealing with how we are deceived and connived and, well, just the curiosities of the controller's ways in handling or more like destroying. All right, I wanted to put out the Vape Shop Patriot. He puts out a great message, and so I'll leave the link to this message in my description. This essay is going to be talking about some of the things. See, I've always reserved in silence that which has occurred. I've considered it just to be considerate. I consider it to be an insult to go around bragging about what you've done or what you've seen, because that inspires and instills a vehement, what do you say, jealousy. And that is not fair. And so I've refrained from doing it. Now, this being caught up in the YouTube universe has given me prospect to say, look, maybe I should show some people the fact that the universe can be worked with, used, not necessarily manipulated, but you're the conduit. You are the conduit. And throughout these stories that I go through in my videos, I will tell you a few of the things, of the hundreds of amazing miracles that I personally have seen, witnessed, and taken part of as a conduit of something that is a thinking entity. I'll put it to you that way. So I can see the relevance of angels and demons, etc., etc., with the spiritual divergences of an electromagnetic situation, moreover, than little things that want to come get you or make everybody feel bad and that sort of thing. Although there are parasitic entities that also should be addressed, like those that are taking over that have taken over our entire social realm. And so these are part of the haphazard universe issues. And I wanted to mention that because there's some personal stuff in this particular essay which I would prefer not to have revealed. So for some it'll be interesting, for others it will be boring. I hope it is not irritating to you in any way, shape, or form. Alrighty then, let's get to it. The up and down relationships to first initial confusion is that there is sky under your feet. So if you don't focus on that particular detail, realize that up is up, down is down, that there is earth at the base of things and sky above that earth and sun up in that sky. If you see that as reality, well, good for you. Here's another example. Earth below, sky above, water sitting on earth. And you go, well, that's really simple. Is it? Is it? Not the way we're taught in our training in school. Here you see, and you know, those astute individuals that can see that they are standing on the earth with water that sits also upon the earth and sky that is above that water. You say that is so simple. No, it's an actual confusion for a lot of people, and that's how we're trained from our initial training sessions. The layering is the important part. I like this little satellite they throw in there. Oh man! And this is where satellites live. Yeah, and the imagination is where they. But anyway, I'm not saying you don't know, but to understand that fundamental detail is confused in our initial training in school. We are taught that we live on this ball and there is earth, or there is sky underneath your feet. If you ignore all of that, you look at the facts and details of things where you have water sitting on the earth like it is, and the sky above the earth like it is, and the sun in the sky like it is. And I know it sounds way too simple, but this is the foundation of grounding and the basis of understanding. And here we are with the BBC in the educational channel and to discover details. So ever since I was a little kid getting whipped in Catholic schools and being told I'm going to make a great priest. I doubted everything I was told and needed evidence and proof, and praise the Lord for that, because I would have fallen in with the rest of the bunch that thought I was not really that smart, and have always been out to, not to be controversial or contrary, but give me the proof, give me the evidence, give me the facts, don't give me a story. And if you do have a story, I'm going to take that story and run out and check it. So, I wanted to mention that. And of course, another one of my common issues is what life is. And life is like a box of chocolates or a field of flowers. In my humble opinion, you can look at the overall field and appreciate and enjoy the beauty of it. Or you can look down into the dirt itself and look underneath at the base of the flowers and look at what might be there at the base of the flowers. There's a lot of ways to approach this field of flowers, that was weird, that we call life. And right, I like to look at both ends. I like to stand up and look across the field occasionally and just mention how cool and beautiful it is. And then also I like to dig down into the pile of crap I might have found right there and dig down in to see what's in it. I like to break things apart, and we approach life in this way as well. We either just stand and appreciate, or we take the time to dig it apart, but it is not up to me to discern that for anyone but themselves. Just give a comparative analysis or analogy and have you consider it as a way we look at life. And so I thought I'd also bring up that. Now let's get into a couple of these fantastic comments. And popping right into today's comments, I am going to begin with Peter Picardo saying, I don't know, man. When I see the sun, it's like the one in 1337 with a squiggly line smile and two big eyes. And thanks, Peter. I know exactly what you're talking about, that squiggly-eyed sun. Skander Ficker, always good to hear from you again. Skander, the sun is definitely on our sky 3-mile field of vision. We shouldn't be able to see neither the sun or moon so clearly, and there are observations. We make the observations, we consider what is true by them. I think this is great. I rode submarines while I was in the Navy. And example, we would travel a depth of 200 feet, maintain zero bubble, and this means that you didn't go up or down 1 degree. We maintained an even depth for 100 miles. On a globe that you'd not be able to do this, only on a flat surface. And these are people that have the experience, and I put in my comment that I've considered many thousands that tend to ignore this fact. Observation. You have the experience and factual evidence, but science has other ideas, I guess. And it is weird, in my humble opinion. I thought I would show these comments as well. Great show. Sir Lancelot, thank you, Mr. Beasy. And Logan always pops in with some interesting and curious details. I like to joke around with Logan as well. The surface of my apartment appears to be flat, but the shape of all that encompasses my apartment is not flat. Just the part I stand on. Woohoo-wee! And I put, the light bulb shows you the actual shape of the room, probably pearish or bulby shaped. Because just like normal science, the bulb in your room is 3 million miles away. And joking around with Mr. Logan. Once again, thanks. One Mountain Cat tosses in a quick comment, and he likes the fun and games part. He's talking about the comments online. I fell for him online today. It was great. He's probably not sure I'm crazy for. I wish I could post my pics of the sun. Way cool. I give them to all. And they are cool to me, by the way. So post your stuff. It's my movie, and I'll cry. One Mountain Cat. Doesn't even take selfies. I can't even download to play pics of Photoshop. Yeah, I am a little reserved myself in all of my cameras. I've given everything away. Like a Buddhist monk, I gave all of my equipment away because I was done with it. Biggest D says, and pops in a link in the past Illuminati game. Let's take a quick look at why not. So let's have a quick preview. It's got Richie from Boston. This must be a mirror because this is Max Igan speaking. And Max is talking about being misled. It's good to look for truth, but be aware of where you are being, misled as much as you can be through what you're able to observe. And of course, Max Igan is one of my faves. Definitely, I've got him in my links quite frequently. Crow 777, etc. And so really this is a great video because Max covers so many different avenues and areas within, and he still sticks to the subject, which is not very haphazard of him, Max. But this is a great video. I thoroughly suggest going through this and consider. And part of the issue before I get out of this is that the way Max Igan puts it, and he's talking about the controlling factors in, here.
Like I said, folks, the awakening has been there, but it hasn't been as much as I want to see. It hasn't been a real eye-opener. It hasn't been an epiphany. It hasn't been where people suddenly go, aha, and they see the mechanism and they see the way out of the mechanism. They see the way out of the mechanism is by simple cooperation, simple non-compliance to the system. Stop feeding it. Stop feeding the beast. Walk away. Stop feeding it, and it will die. But people don't believe they can stop feeding it.
The beast
folks who
feeding it.
Go and arrest people like Assange. I mean, really, you can blame the Prime Minister, you can blame the British government or whatever for the arrest of Julian Assange, but ultimately it's the blockheads with the uniforms on who went there and arrested him who are the real problem. These people are terminally stupid, who simply spend their life supporting their own slavery. And that is such a strange thing for people to do. It's the weirdest thing when looking at this system, folks, is realizing that the ones who control the people within the system are the other people, the ones who believe the orders are real. You've got some guys sitting in an office somewhere who tries to step outside their rules and they've got a chance to squash someone else's life. They actually enjoy doing it because it makes them feel better about themselves. And this is what happens when you take everybody's rights away and you squash human consciousness into a box. Then you start giving little bits of authority to certain people within there, and they will start harvesting as much energy as they can from other people because that alleviates the pain that they're feeling, and that gives them access to other people's energy. They get to step on people and make themselves feel a little bit better about it. And unfortunately, this is the way human nature goes when you put people in a state of scarcity and competition, which is exactly what this monetary and social system is designed to do.
So, excellent points. I wanted to convey whatever came up because whatever Max is saying, it is worth listening to, in my humble opinion. So, thank you for bearing here. And when the police start to look like military, somebody has to look like the enemy. That would be us. I shouldn't laugh at this stuff, and it is factual in my humble opinion. We are the enemy in relation to the great, wonderful controllers who decide whether or not we're going to go shoot each other or we're going to turn against each other because of our religious factions and values. I do a lot of laughing, but what are you going to do? Cry about it? So, yeah, thanks for the wake up once again. Appreciate that, Biggest E. You're always right in the ballpark. And, of course, the Jane Doe Show. I wanted to let you know, Jane, of course, Mother had a great day. I gave her love. I actually gave her a kiss and no hugs. But she did appreciate the sentiment and the gifts that I got her. And, wow, there's quite a comment here. Not really sure I'm going to be able to get through this, Jane, but I get your idea. The ability to create everything in the sky. The controllers remove the divine feminine. The controllers remove the divine pretty much everything. Thanks for sharing the abundant time. They are getting ready to reset humanity again. And we are aware of a lot of this. I love Jane's details and the way she gets into the parasitic nature of the vicious creatures or entities that are controlling us. Thanks, Jane. Wish I could get more. And with Jane Doe in mind and these subjects and issues in order, I will play a little bit of the part 1. I'll put this link in my description.
After they go offline in high fire risk areas. These lines are not re-energized until they are fully inspected. There must be a sharing of the increasing risk of climate change impacts across all of society. This is Rothschild telling you, you must all share in the consequences of weather weapons. Then they say, quote, "We will continue to partner on solutions that will make California more resilient against the impacts of natural disasters and climate change," says Piazzo. "We support state leaders as they seek to solve the statewide problem and respond to California's new normal." So they have fully embraced the weapons system, calling it climate change and deceiving us when it's really weather weapons, and we're going to talk more about that. Certainly, we know that our utility bills are escalating. Rothschild will never pay for the lawsuits that were initiated against the massive homes that were lost. This will end up falling in all of our laps as ratepayers. So this is...
And that is how it works, the revolution. But to begin with, what can we do? From here, we can become aware. Go ahead and use this link and check out the rest of this woman's information. With the information we have, occasionally things will chain react in a positive direction. And magic sticky pads can hold literally anything. So I'm getting those. I'll be picking those up right away. Thanks for the sticky pads. And now I'm going to just try to skip the ads here and get into Two Preachers. Yes, I have seen Two Preachers and their stuff and the way that they communicate, talk about
evil. And if I was God, I'd prove that by healing people, or I'd be...
And he's talking about the devastations that are beset upon man due to their aggravated ways of against nature. And so for us to take responsibility for everything that everyone has done is another consideration. How much responsibility do we have for this, each individually? And these gentlemen talk about we have great responsibilities as a people to try to help turn things around with our nature and the way that we handle ourselves. And so, yeah, this is cool. So check out the Two Preachers. I thought I had subscribed. I'll go ahead and knock those guys into my subscription base and appreciate once again the comments that I am getting to a few different ideas. And right, and so I've got another, and in our next episode we'll be covering left, right, front, back, and center, as well as what's missing from the directions I just mentioned. And the answer to that IQ quiz is you, is the final 8th detail. So, right, I wanted to mention that I do bring up the folks that have subscribed, my new subscribers. Thanks, Roseanne Freeland. And I'd like to pop right in right away. Check out Captain Kirk, Thomas Beasy, and Logan. Didn't mean to pass you by. And someone liked something I said. Oh, amazing. And thank you. Thanks, BD. She has a good one. Yes, had a... My mom's birthday. Mom had a good one. And with Jason Alexander, 2 days ago he subscribed. Yesterday he's in a video as the star. No, he had a lot of good stuff to say, a lot of poignant information in that we are all a piece of the same energy and should fortify each other and lift each other up with generative, positive, and creative ideas. Not to mention, happy, uplifting. Lotus Film Studios. Good name, Lotus Film. Thanks for the subscription. And Wise Up has always got some cool stuff to look at. And I put in about the nice tech stuff. And it is always a pleasure in Wise Up's video. And a lot of these links you will see, just go to any of my past videos. I have lists of links that I quit putting in so often at this particular juncture. And so with that, I will bid thee adieu, and thank you for joining and considering these metaphoric and curious details within our lives, and hopefully we'll continue to be uplifted, generative, positive, creative, and enlightened. So, thanks for joining. We'll talk to you soon. Sayonara.